Hello, in today's video we're going to take a look at Kohl's, and we will be looking at finding different brands and taking a large scrape and filtering it down to see which brands we might be able to sell, which products that might be profitable. So in this one, I am on Kohl's. They have a number of sales here, but right now they have Kohl's Cash, which is essentially a 20% discount. And they also have this extra 15% coupon. So if I click the coupon, I can go in, I'll get the results, which obviously there are 300,000 results. I wouldn't want to scrape that many by any means. But what I will do is go to the department. And in this case, I selected shoes. So you can see there's 7,116 products that are, some of them are already on sale, but they're all eligible for that You Save 15, plus you get that 20% Kohl's Cash. And what I like to do is sort by bestsellers, and this is essentially how I come up with my list. To scrape this, I copy the URL at the top with my filters in place, and if I scroll to the bottom, you'll see that there are 149 pages possible that I could scrape. To scrape this, I would just paste in that URL, say how many pages that I want to do, put in my 20% discount, and it's off and running. So I ran a scrape of about, I think, 25 or 30 pages of that, and that scrape is here. And just with that, that's about, I'd say, 1,500 products or so. But you can see, because of all of the variants, this particular scrape is 93,000 rows. So there is a ton of data within this particular scrape. And what I'm going to do is show you some things that I would do to filter it down and specifically look for brands that I would sell. And the reason I say looking for brands is when Kohl's has a coupon, many of the name brand products are not eligible. So you're not going to find Nike, you're not going to find Converse, you're not going to find Adidas. There's a lot of brands that are not coupon eligible at all, which is fine. I mean, those brands are still profitable, or they'll be on sale, or with your 20% Kohl's Cash, you're still going to find some good ones there. But this one specifically is only brands that are coupon eligible. So they may not be the best known, but you can still get an idea of their sales rank, how many they sell per month. And then what we'll be looking for is, are we allowed to sell that? Like if I'm a newer seller, if I'm just looking, hey, maybe there's a new brand that I want to see. This is a great way to do that with such a large scrape. You can then filter it down. So in the past, I found brands such as Clark's. I've sold a bunch of Clark's. Those are really good. Deer Foam. There's Wellington. There's some other brands in here like men's boots, things like that, that I found in this manner and have been able to scrape. One other thing on that Kohl's search is, if you go back to Kohl's, say you do have a Kohl's card, not only you can take that 15% off, but if you have a Kohl's card, then you could either have 15, 20, or 30%. I think they alternate, but it's pretty easy to get a 30% code if you have a Kohl's card. So some of the things that we'll be looking at can be even more discounted than what is being shown. So the first thing I do always on these is sort by sales rank, smallest to largest. Let's see what moves the fastest, right? From there, I'll look at the reviews. I generally avoid products that don't have any reviews, just because it says to me, if it doesn't have a sales rank and there's no reviews, it's never sold. It doesn't mean it can't be sold or it wouldn't be sold, but I'm trying to find ones that are, I'm not going to hold on to the inventory for months at a time hoping to get a sale. So in here, I will just say number greater than or equal to, let's say 5, and that should get rid of the blanks and things like that. So you can see, I have that filter in there. Yeah, so with that, I'm seeing at least reviews that have at least more than 5, and we can go down the list. Profit, it doesn't really make sense to be focusing or spending a lot of time on items that even with that discount are still not showing profitable. A lot of times Amazon's on those listings and keeping the price low, which is fine. But with this many listings, I'm going to go into the number filters and I'm going to say, let's start with $20 profit. That's going to significantly lower the amount of things that we have to work with, but obviously you can still see there's a lot of data. So I'll do something like title, and what I'll do is if I do Control Shift down, it tells me down here I still have 836. So $20 profit on these has narrowed down the list significantly, but I can always undo that filter and look at maybe $10 or $15 or other filters, like I said, or I can just be looking at brands. So with this sorted by the smallest, I could take a look at any of these here. Like for instance, if I want to open that, I'll just click on each link. The Amazon will open first. And what I'm looking for, of course, is that it's the same shoe. It should be, since it's matching the UPC, but you can see it's red, it's size 12. If I go back here and click that retail link, it should open when it updates to the same shoe, size 12 in the red. So we let this update here. It is size 12. The colors look a little bit different, but it does look like it's the same shoe with those little circles on the side. Yep. So I would just make sure that Kohl's has it in stock. Right here you can see there's some different pricing, but this one is in the $58.65 with the code, and then you would take an additional 20% off of that, which ends up being $46.92. So I will go back here, log into SellerAmp so that I can put my information in there. And I'll be looking at the quick info, $46.92, 92. And that gives me a profit of $27, 58% ROI, which I would take any day. Just confirming that is correct. You can see the people selling it. And that's the other thing, is when I'm looking at, can I sell this brand? A lot of times I'd like to look at who else is selling it. Not only the number of people selling it now, but I can go into Keepa and also look at the history and see what other sellers have been on the listing, and just look at, is my IP alert going to tell me this is a brand I should avoid or something like that. But so far this looks good. I'm also looking at the number of ratings, because sometimes there'll be like a very popular Amazon seller that may have, tens of thousands of ratings that have permission from the manufacturer to be selling them on Amazon. But I'm looking for sellers like me, maybe a few hundred or less than 100 ratings. And if they're on there, I'm having a little bit more confident that this is a brand that I can sell. It does say I'm eligible to sell it, so I'm not gated. And the next thing I would do is check Keepa. So not only am I looking at the price history where I see it's jumped up, probably because this one went out of stock, but then I can also look under data and offers and just look at the historical offers. Again, looking as, is this a brand that I would be able to sell? Looking at some of these review counts and sellers. So some of these I recognize from other listings and things, where if they're selling on here, they have a low review count, then, I'm not as concerned. You see something like this, like I was talking about, where they have 180,000 reviews, they probably have a deal with the shoe manufacturer to be able to sell. And they're probably the ones that sell it the most, like Zappos here. So if Zappos is out of stock, this is when you can jump on a listing and you'll be able to jump in at 95, where you look at it historically on the price history, it's been around 51. And if it was 51 and our cost is 46, then it's not profitable, but right now it is. So I would probably lean towards listing this one as FBM, since it's available at Kohl's. I can get these quickly, either through overnight shipping or to see if they're available. This one's not available for pickup, so I would be able to do overnight shipping on this one, but you generally get the idea there. So if that's a good one, I would just bold it. I would go and make it a color that I could sort by later, like green. So the other thing I can do if I'm looking at different brands, like I've sold Rika before, so I know that one's a good one, but you can, when you have the filters turned on, you can click on here and you can see, the different titles. So if I want to look at a particular brand like Easy Street, Georgia Boot, Journey, Nine West, Rika, anything like that, I can just filter that in the title by putting in the name, and that'll show me just the selection. Again, I still have that profit, so I could undo that if I was just looking at different brands and maybe I just want to see, is it something that looks like other sellers are on that they could, that I might be able to start selling. I'm sure there's going to be other places besides Kohl's that sell some of these shoes, but some of these look pretty decent as far as profit. Let's just grab one and take a look just to see what we find. So again, women's size 12. There's probably a need. That's a pretty big shoe for in size women's. You can see Amazon was on the listing and now they're not, which is another great thing about the scraping. You may have looked at this or storefront stocked it or something like that while Amazon is on it, and you're missing out on the opportunity. Look, there's like no offers. So in this case, you would literally be the only one selling it. So, it doesn't have a high sales volume, of course. It's another thing you want to look at. But, you look at that same shoe here. You got that same size 12. It's available. It's on sale for $68. If I look at my scrape, it's telling me after discount is $61. With the additional 20% off is, let's see, $61.19. That's what I would put into Seller Amp here. And that shows a $45 profit, 75% ROI. So again, this one isn't a huge seller, so it still may be worth buying one or two and hope that before Amazon comes back in stock, you'd be able to cash in on that and get some sales. If you look at it, this has been around for about a year. There's only been a couple times Amazon's been out. So it might be a little risky, but again, if you're only buying one or two and it's a relatively low cost, there's a lot of upside. So if I go back to my list here, I could check out other ones as well. I can also look on the side if I want to look at the reviews just to see what kind of reviews these have. So, it seems like you're looking at some pretty good variations of those listings. Obviously, something like this has a ton of reviews, and it's maybe half of the total reviews on a listing. So that one might be worth taking a look at as well, just to see if maybe Keepa shows a little bit more activity. So this looks like a good running shoe. Again, we're looking at size 11 in women's, which is relatively large, but again, people buy them and they can't find them in stores. That's where they're coming here. So again, size 11, this is $90 before the 20% discount. So my cost becomes $72. And again, you're looking at a $30 profit. So looking at Keepa, Amazon's been on this. They had a much lower price. They had a little bit higher price, lower. Now they've sold out. And then you can see when you zoom in here, look what happens when Amazon sells out. Your next best option is at $121. If you're looking at FBA, you could definitely jump in on this one, but I would be worried that Amazon would come back in stock if you're looking at FBA. And again, you can look and see, what other offers has this had. Mostly, you could look at the Shoe Mall is probably the primary seller, Roadrunner. These have like a lot of reviews, but there's also other sellers. You can see, there's definitely like some that have lower reviews that have been selling it. And if you go back to the price history, you'll be looking, of course, if you look at all, you can always zoom in, but you'd be looking at periods like here where, all of a sudden you're dropping sellers steeply. Then that's another sign it may be an IP target. But again, IP alert says it's okay. Seller Amp says it's okay, and there are other sellers on it. So, and I've sold this one before and I hadn't had any issues. So you could do that. So again, we go back to ours. Maybe I take Rika out of the filter. So I just do clear filter from title. This is still looking at the profitable ones, but you can see there's a lot of different brands in here. Reebok, Nine West. I've sold Lifestride before. That's a good one. Journey is a good one. So, when you have a scrape this size, looking at all of the different brands and just kind of deciding, hey, is this one that maybe I should try to get ungated, or maybe I'm already ungated on. You can see there's a lot of different options that we have here, like Rocket Dog. So that's one way to use the scrapes, is to cast that wide net and then start filtering. I could filter by ROI, so maybe I only want to see the ones greater than 50%, that type of thing. But a lot of these, these aren't the popular ones where you're going to see a lot of competition from other sellers like Nike, where you have 30 offers, things like that. You can look at the offers tab or column over here and just see, like, you're not seeing a ton of competition on these. So when you're talking about listings that are all above $20 profit and have at least 5 reviews and, a decent sales rank, you're not going to be competing with a ton of other sellers, because they tend to go for the more popular Converse, Adidas, Skechers, things like that. That's, I've done very well jumping on those listings. There's some even where, there are no current offers and you would be that, or there's just one other offer. Those are really good to jump on as well. So a lot of what we'll do is just kind of trial and error on some of these. If we see a brand that we like and we see some profit here, try to find one that's good, like this one showing $50 profit. That's never a bad thing. All I'm doing is I know that it matches the UPC. It'll be the same shoe. Women's shoes, these ones like these tend to have a little bit higher returns. It's something to consider, but again, overall you're doing pretty well on those shoes. So open that again. So you can see once it updates, it's the same shoe. This one is actually 11 wide. It is available in stock. All the other ones have sold out. You're looking at that $68 cost with the coupon. You take 20% off of that, and we're looking at $54.39. I just put that into my listing, and you can see there's a huge profit. So again, if you're fishing, you're a newer seller, maybe you don't have a ton of money to spend, but you want to put in a few, buy 1 or 2 of these and to spread it around. When you do get sales, it's definitely worth it. I've definitely sold off-brand type shoes and done well, especially when there's coupons. And remember, if you have a Kohl's card, you'd be getting 30% off of that advertised price instead of 15, so there'd be even more profit to work with. If I go back to my sheet, let me just undo that filter again, showing the 90,000 different rows. If I re-enable the filter, just look at, the different titles here. There's Bear Claw, there's Deer Foams, which I've sold, Cliffs, let's see what else we have, Deer Stags. These are all coupon eligible, Dr. Scholl's. So mostly what you'd be looking at, I've sold Eastland. IP complaints can be a real headache, so you want to just do your homework, make sure that you're not jumping on a listing that's alerting you to an IP complaint and that they're going to either say you're inauthentic or don't have permission to sell. But a lot of them, you can sell. And if you find the right listings and the right shoes, maybe focus on the more popular sizes, like 7, 8, 9 in women's, 10, 11, 12 in men's. Those tend to move the fastest, but even the outliers can do really well as well here. So Georgia, Journey, Lifestride, Lugs, Nunn Bush, Profit, Reebok, Rocket Dog, Rika, Wolverine. So Wolverine's another one that I've done really well on. Those, they sell men's boots. Usually I'll be looking for more of a coupon than 15% because if they have like a 40% mystery coupon or that 30% store card and Kohl's Cash, that could help with the Wolverine. But I've sold a lot. I bought like 50 or 60 at once when they had a mystery coupon 40% off of one cart purchase, and did really well with those, because even though the Kohl's price and the Amazon price matched, I had such a discount that I was making $30-40 per sale on those. And, I would definitely do that all day long. So just an example of how you can use these to cast a wide net. Use scraping. You find a sale, you find a coupon eligible that has a lot of different products. You pick a department, you let the scrape run. It's completely automated, generates this sheet. And then now you have all these products are on Amazon, and you can start researching. Not only is it a good product to sell where you would make a product, but maybe you're looking for new brands or new types, new products. Maybe you looking at men's boots that jumped out at you because you found one from one brand. It's a good way to kind of go to different options when you're trying to find new things to sell. Obviously, with departments, that's another thing that can be done. When you're on Kohl's, you can very easily click into either a clearance or that sale, and then just start looking at categories and different, look at all these different departments. You could essentially scrape any one of these. So if you wanted to do home, kitchen, you wanted to do toys, you wanted to do kids, you wanted to do pet, it's all here. You basically just select like toy clearance, for instance. Once it brings up the search, you just grab the URL and you can scrape every product that you've seen here. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll continue to make videos like this that offer advice.